and I'm the author of Liberating Nigeria, a guide to winning elections and reviving our country, with forward by Mr. Femi Falana, SAN, published 3 years ago. And I like to talk about. I like to continue my podcast. I haven't done it for a while, doing a lot of lots of traveling, and I just want to talk about fixing our economy today. I I've listened to um, several of the candidates, Bola Tinubu, Atiku Abubakar, Moriele Showore, and Peter Obi. And I want to say that they're actually in a better position than Rishi Sunak right now. The British have just um, got a new prime minister who is in a tougher situation because his options are limited. But I just want to say that the incoming Nigerian president has many options available that the British Prime Minister doesn't even have. And I just highlight a few things that are not very difficult. They're politically difficult, but it's not too hard to implement them. And the first thing is there's something going around called Steve Oronshai report in the last couple of years, where the man, I think was Goodluck Jonathan, that asked him to come up with a report on how to reduce government expenditure. And it's shocking. It's very disappointing that every government has failed to implement this report. The report is there. It's simple. A Tinubu can come in, an article can come in, Showore can come in, Obi can come in, and they can just they can just start with the report. They don't need to start another group, another committee. No, they can start working with the report from day one. And that can probably cut expenditure, cut by more than, maybe 20% or thereabout. That's one. And that's an option that's available. They don't need to reinvent the wheel. Let's talk about oil and gas theft. Now, there's a lot of focus on low level theft, internal theft, which is good. The government had to recently appoint private entities like organizations owned by Tom Polo and Co. to manage that's the security, and I think that's okay. If you know that your armed forces, your security forces cannot do something, it's good to humble yourself and give it to people that can do it. But what about the bigger theft happening on the seas? I think that's also easy. My suggestion: appoint um, a U.S. security outfit. I'm just saying US because I know about the US. I know there are companies that can do that in the US. Give them the power to sink a ship. So if they see any unauthorized ship around, waterways, and they give the person warning, maybe 2, 3 hours or whichever, and if they have the power to sink the ship, sink the ship. Now, we have to be very decisive on, in that area of big oil theft. And that's the biggest problem we have. I think the smaller refineries in the south region, Niger Delta region, is terrible. It's bad for our economy, bad for our climate, and we need to fix it. But I think the first one to fix is a big theft happening on the seas. And if we continue to bank on our navy that has not been able to fix this for maybe more than 30 years, then we are joking. I think the incoming government should work with a private organization that has no affiliations with any political party, with any region in Nigeria, to protect our waterways. That organization should be allowed to sink any ship that is illegally trying to take Nigeria's oil. Um, and the third one I want to talk about is oil subsidy. My problem with oil subsidy is every government comes in and says, we're going to end oil subsidy, or in place of this subsidy, we'll do XYZ. And I think the first thing to do is to start with the XYZ. And every government has failed. Now, when Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala and Jonathan were talking about removing of sub, they were talking about mass transit, so many things. Nothing like that was done. How do you expect labor to trust you when you keep talking about what you will do and you end up not doing those things? And you expect them to trust you when you remove subsidy? And they talk about Buhari government. They talked about CNG. They will make available compressed natural gas for vehicles, for big vehicles, transportation vehicles, to reduce dependence on diesel and petrol. Where are the CNGs? Where are the special gas stations to sell CNG? None. So let's talk about those even much more. It's disappointing that the Buhari government did nothing to placate people, nothing. And that's what you want to do first, to assure people that, you know, we really are ready to do something to help people as soon as we remove subsidy, you know. So for me, I think the new government needs to focus on, and I think Tinubu can do it. I think Atiku, I think these four people, I don't know so much about the rest. I've not heard so much about Engineer Kwankwansho. But I listen to B, I listen to Tinubu, I listen to Atiku, Showore. I think all of them have capacity to fix this, because it's not so hard. You talk about mass transit. Mass transit is working in Lagos State. And I mentioned in my book that it just seems federal government in Nigeria is able to manage businesses better than state government. So this idea that we want to devolve power to, to states, I've talked about it multiple times. I don't agree. So I think we can have a federal mass transit system. Big buses, small buses, just replicate what is happening in Lagos. Lagos has quite a successful mass transit system. Big buses, small buses. Lagos has been very creative. And we can replicate that on a large scale. Let the federal government manage it, maybe through a PPP. And if that can alleviate and reduce expenses, transport expenses, I mean, we can do that for the first few months. It doesn't take a long time. If the new government can do that for first few months, show people, demonstrate to people that we're able to do something to reduce your transport expenses. As soon as you've done that, I think that can help you gain the trust of people. You can do other things, maybe salary increase, or just do a few other things to make workers happy. I don't really like to focus too much on NLC. Labor is important, but lots of Nigerians that are not within labor. So I don't really like this idea that we think only about labor. We have to think about everybody. But I think that if the government can demonstrate within the first few months real actions, not the way GJ and Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala did that, not the way Buhari and his people did that, demonstrate real actions, I think it will be easy to remove subsidy. We have to get rid of subsidy for this government to prosper, for Nigeria to prosper. But we can't start with that. Demonstrate a few things, and then when you remove subsidy, you have more money to do a lot for the people. Those are three things I think incoming government can do. Again, these are options, and I'm not providing options that are novel, like special, like something that brought from I got one revelation. No, these are options many people are aware of. That's what I'm saying. The incoming president is in a better situation compared to the current British Prime Minister, who has very, very limited options. So whoever you're voting for, I think you can mention these things to your candidates and ask them if they're going to do it. These are not simple. These are not big. They are not very difficult. Steve Oranshine report is out there. Pick it from day one. Get a U.S. company or a foreign company to secure your waterways, and demonstrate some action. Remove subsidy. I think that's all I have to say today. Until I come your way again, I wish you a blessed week. You can make comments. I'd like to hear people's feedback, and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Have a blessed day. Thank you.